Hey, in this video, we're going to go over our defensive line reads. Um, the reads for the nose and the end are effectively the same, but we'll go over them separately. And then I'm also going to show example videos to give you some visual instruction on what we're expecting. It's all the same stuff that we taught last year, but we have a lot of new defensive linemen this year. And so just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay, so the nose. Um, your philosophy is to play through half of the center. Okay. Um, Key thing here is we don't want you shooting gaps. We want you playing through the center. Okay. So we want you to get a knockback on this center on every single play. And we want you attacking half man. And we'll explain what that means, but it effectively means one hand is always in the center or on the chest plate, and the other hand is on the shoulder. Okay. And then, like we talked about, your key is the center to the near back. Okay, so if we get a base block from the center, we're going to shock, extend, peek, and shed. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, the shock is right here with the hands. Okay, you'll notice that he peeks, and then he gets good extension, then he sheds. Okay, so we'll see it again. There's the shock. You'll see the extension. Okay, meaning that his arms are locked out. You'll notice here that even on this dummy bag, he's attacking half man. Okay. His left hand is in the center, and his right hand is on the shoulder over here. Now you see that he's peeking into his gap. All right. So shock, extend, peek, and then he sheds into his gap. Okay. So this is uh, extremely important for what we do. I consider this to be the most important skill of our defensive linemen. Okay. So we are going to perfect this. Shock, extend, peek, shed. Okay. If we get reach blocked, okay, so this is they're running outside zone, stretch, something like that. And this center is trying to reach you. Okay, we are going to steer back into your gap. So let's take a look at what that looks like. All right. So a couple of things to notice here. Again, they're attacking half man. The left hand is in the center chest. The right hand is on the pec. Okay, and they're shuffling with their feet, getting full extension, coming back into their gap. This is going to be a good one right here. So this man is trying to reach number 56, and number 56 wants to steer back into this gap. Okay, that's a really good rep right there for us. Okay, so some of the key things here is when we're steering back into the gap, this right arm wants to be fully extended, and we want to shuffle our feet back into our gap. All right. So we'll work on that. That's steering. Next, if the center and the guard come to double team, we are going to use the hip technique to take on the double team. Um, the hip technique, we worked a lot on this last year. Okay. So first thing you'll notice, okay, is we have our defensive lineman here. Okay. We have two offensive linemen trying to block him. First thing I want you to notice is this defensive lineman is still attacking half man. Okay. His right hand is in the center plate and his left hand is on the shoulder pad. All right. As he feels this second man coming in, he is going to drive his hip into the second man. Okay. While driving his hip into the second man, he is keeping this good extension and he is pressing through the shoulder. What that means is his left arm, as he's trying to get full extension and get knocked back here and get hip pressure here. You notice here that he is shuffling his feet, trying to keep 2 feet on the ground at all times, but still shuffling. Once this gap breaks, then he can rip through. All right, so let's watch it again. All right, let's just move over here. This is the corkscrew technique, and we don't teach that. Okay, so he feels it. The hip is going into the pad. All right. Now, when his hip hits this pad, it should make the pad pop. That's how hard his hip needs to hit this pad. Then he gives that pressure. He's shuffling into the pressure while keeping extension with his arms. Okay. So we saw that last year, or we drilled that last year. In my opinion, this is the second most important thing that we can learn. Okay. Now, sometimes, guys, I have this thing here that says cut the center. Okay. If you get pushed back more than one step, okay, so let's say that this center and guard, they get a really good block and they push you back, you're just going to immediately drop your level and cut the center. Create a pile, create a big pile. And that's the same techniques that we did last year, so it shouldn't be anything new. Okay, if the center pulls around the guard, that means you're going to get a down block from this guard, and we want you to chase. Okay, there's two ways that you can chase. If you're really fast, okay, you can beat this down block and get into the backfield. Okay, that's the first way that we chase. What's more common is this guard actually gets to us on the down block, and we have to cross the face of the guard and try to make a tackle. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like here. Whoop. See, let's mute it. All right, so right here, check out this D tackle. Okay, here's the center. He's going to get a down block, and we'll see what happens. All right, so his guard is pulling. He gets the down block. He would like to get up here, but the center was too quick. So now he's going to cross the face. The nice swim move. Okay. So let's take a look at that again. Oh, sorry. Let's go slow motion here. Okay, so his key is gonna pull and he's gonna get a down block. He has two options. He can try to beat the down block upfield and then chase the puller, or he can cross the face of the down block. He elects to cross the face of the down block here, and then he goes in and makes the tackle. Okay. All right, now let's talk about the trap or the wrap. Okay. If the center leaves you and goes straight up to a linebacker, it's because a guard or a tackle or the H or the Y or the F is coming to either trap you, wrap you, or wham you. Okay. So what you want to do in this situation is squeeze and spill. What you don't want to do is run into the backfield because you're going to get clobbered. You're going to get ear hold. Okay. You just want to sit, get your eyes up, and look for the puller. Okay. And once you see that puller, then you just spill. And we'll talk about squeeze and spill in detail in a second here. Okay. Okay. Finally, if the center pass rushes, then you pass rush your A gap. You pass rush your run fit. Okay. Okay. So those are the reads for the center. Okay. Remember, we want to get knockback, initial knockback on the center. We want to play through the half man of the center. We don't want to play through our gap. If we get into the backfield, it's because we went through the center. All right. Okay. Let's move on to the ends. The ends are in a 4-eye. Your your read is the tackle guard. Okay, and your run fit is the B gap. Um, we've already gone over base block. If the tackle base blocks you, you want to shock, extend, peek, and shed. If the guard tries to reach you, okay, then you need to steer. This should be steer. Sorry. Let me change it right now. Okay, you need to steer back and hold this B gap. All right. If you get a double team from the tackle and the guard, you want to use the hip technique. And if you get displaced or if you get pushed back more than one step, you immediately drop your level and you cut the tackle. Okay. If the guard pulls behind the center, okay, you can chase. We're going to have you chase. Okay. There's two ways you can do that. Typically, if the guard pulls behind the center, it's either going to be the tackle trying to block you, base block you here, or it's going to be the center who is trying to down block you here. Because we have a nose, it's probably going to be the tackle. So if you beat this tackle, you can just get in to the backfield and you can chase this guard. Okay. If the guard pulls behind the tackle, all right, you're going to get a down block from the tackle. You can try to beat the tackle into the backfield, or you can cross the face of the tackle. Okay. We'll just go to pass rush real quick. We're going to teach you ends and noses, a lot more pass rush techniques this year. But if you pass rush, then if you get a pass set, then you're just going to pass rush your B gap, which is your run fit. Okay. Now let's talk about squeeze and spill. In the event that the tackle and the guard down block or move up to the linebackers, okay, you are going to squeeze down and you're going to spill the puller. Okay. We were really good at this last year. We're going to improve on it this year. Okay. So let's take a look at what squeeze and spill is. All right. Take a look here. That's a squeeze and spill. Okay. All right. So let's break that down. Change the playback speed. Okay. So we have a defensive end here. Okay. You know, this is the end man on the line. All right. So they're going to run power. So this guard is going to pull around and try to kick out this end. Okay. When this tackle down blocks on the defensive tackle, he is going to squeeze, which just means shuffle inside. And then when the guard pulls, he is going to wrong arm him or spill him. Okay. So here we go. Boom. You see that down block? Now he's going to squeeze this space. You're going to see him shuffle down the line of scrimmage. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. He now identifies the puller, and he's just going to put his left arm on the left shoulder of the puller. Another way to think of it is his outside arm is going to go on the inside shoulder of the puller. Just like that. And that forces this running back. The running back wanted to run through this hole here. Now the running back has to spill it outside, and the linebacker's going to make a tackle. Okay, let's watch another example. Okay, we have the end man on the line here. All right. This guard is going to pull around. We're going to get down blocks here. So we're going to squeeze and spill. There's the squeeze. There's the spill. Forces the running back outside. So why does squeeze and spill work? Because it forces the running back to run horizontally or sideline to sideline. Okay. All right, let's take this is a really good look. Okay. I really like this example here. Okay, we have a defensive end here. We have a guard here. We're going to get a down block. So this defensive end is immediately going to squeeze, pick his head up, identify the puller, spill the puller, and force this running back to run outside. So let's take a look. Squeeze, spill, running back has to run outside. There's the tackle. Okay. So, I actually misspoke. You notice here that there's no down block. This tight end actually just went straight up to the linebacker or the next level, in this case, the corner. And that's just as good. Okay. You still need to squeeze. Okay. You see him squeezing, squeezing. Still squeezing. He sees the puller coming. What the puller wants to do is kick him out here. So he's going to put his right arm on the inside shoulder of this puller. Okay, he doesn't quite get there, but he still does his job because he forces the running back to bounce it outside where their help is. Okay, let's watch one more. That's a really good one. Okay, so let's watch it again. Oh, sorry. So we're gonna get a down block here. This man's gonna go straight up to the next level. He knows that he has to squeeze. So he's squeezing down. He identifies the puller. Now he's going to put his left arm on the left shoulder or outside arm on the inside shoulder of the puller, just like that. Okay. Okay. That is squeeze and spill. You will recall that we went over this last year, and honestly, we got pretty good at it. So, yeah. So those are your reads, defensive lineman.